Hello and welcome. Today on GhanaWeb's Road Safety Campaign Series, we speak to a renowned playwright. Indeed, we can call him a road safety ambassador because over the years, he has championed road safety in his own way. When we return from this break, we introduce our guest. My name is Lord Harris Idwasari. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Today we speak to the CEO of Globe Productions in the person of Latif Abubakar. He's here to tell us his story on Ghana's roads. He had a pretty recent one and he's going to share it all with us. Latif.
Hi, bro.
Thanks for agreeing to do this. I know it's pretty fresh in your mind, so there'll be some form of difficulty.
For me, I think I've overcome it, even though it's fresh, because we thank God it wasn't as severe as I've been seeing other people go through.
Okay.
It's manageable. I mean, the damage was more on the car than the human being.
Okay.
And anytime you go through such a situation, you just have to thank God.
That's true.
I mean, it's a scary, situation, and it's a scary moment. But if you are not hurt, God, glory be to God.
How did it even happen in the first place?
Okay, so I was in traffic on the Spintex Road towards Accra Mall, moving towards Accra Mall, and then you had this guy, I don't know what he was doing, around 7 a.m. I was actually going to class, I was going to lecture, and then our side of the road was was not moving that much.
Okay.
There's this slow traffic, and then the other side of the road was flowing.
Very busy.
So very busy. So this guy just all of a sudden moved from his lane and then crashed my car. When we got down, the first question I asked him, "Were you sleeping?" He said no. And then I asked him, "So what happened?" He says, "I really don't know what happened."
He doesn't know saying. Is it that his car failed him or?
And the brakes were working. They were working well.
Okay.
I mean, we tried the brakes. The brakes were working well, and I was trying to find out. But for me, I suspected that the guy was stressed because on his face you could see that someone, he's not slept well, and so on and so forth, or he was sleeping behind the wheels. But he denied all that, and it's obvious. Mostly when people get accident, they are in some kind of state of denial. So. It wasn't surprising to me that he was denying whatever he was doing or whatever went through or whether he was on his phone and so on and so forth. We asked him all the questions. The police was not far from. Usually they patrol that area in the morning. So just about in less than 5 minutes the police was there, and then they were trying to query him, asked him what really happened. He denied everything. So the question is, we really didn't know what happened. But the most important thing is that he moved away from his lane, straight into my car. That section of the road is actually quite big for both the incoming and then outgoing cars. You have that section it's very broad. So, and I was closer to even the borderline. Okay. The only reason why I couldn't move to the borderline is that there was this truck drivers also using the yes. So when I saw him coming, I just checked and there was a car beside me, so I just had to what?
Oh, you saw it coming?
I saw it coming, and in a split second, like then there's a crash. Like there was nothing you could do, because if I moved this way, I would just crash the truck driver into the huge gutters. And so, the only thing to do is what?
What was going through your mind when you saw him coming? Was
In
it
fact,
full speed or?
You go blank. So I actually can't tell what exactly happened.
Yeah, in short.
Within that period. Yeah, you go blank because one, you don't understand. You don't even understand how someone would just move out of his lane with speed straight.
Straight at you.
Head-on collision. So it's. When I saw him, 1, 2, 3, there's a crash.
Which vehicle was he using?
That's Hyundai Elantra. Okay. No, his was Hyundai Sonata.
Okay.
Yes, I think that 2013, 2014 edition. And mine was Hyundai Elantra, 2012 edition. So, that's what happened.
Wow.
Fortunately, my car was damaged. It affected the engine. And
it must have been a very
yeah,
strong
yeah,
impact.
the
Affect
impact
the
was,
engine.
yes, my car was damaged, affected the engine. But I mean, he admitted his fault, took the responsibility. In fact, he was a driver, so he had to call in his boss to come in. And then they decided that they don't want it to be a police case. Let's settle it out there. So the first thing I do was to consult the policeman. Is it done that way? Because it's my first time in my 20 years of driving. This is my first time. So I was like, is it done that way? And the policeman was like, no. They've had series of experience where you get people trying to settle it away from the police. And then later when they go home, the person who caused the accident doesn't respond. Over and over and over and over. And now you want to come back to the police. The police will, yes, exactly. They will actually not give you the attention you deserve or need. So even if I want to settle it out of office, out of the police, what I should do is to move to the police and then lodge a complaint. Then we can tell the police that this is what we want to do.
Okay.
But at least the accident has been recorded.
Some official.
Yes, and it can add up to the national tally of the number of accidents that is going on and so on and so forth. So yeah, it made sense. The guy was very resistant to that. I mean, and the fact that the more he was resistant, the more I get convinced that I had to go to the police.
Yes,
so we ended up there.
Were there any passengers in both vehicles?
He had a lady at the back.
Okay.
Yeah, a lady sitting at the back seat with a kid.
Wow.
And then I was sitting in the car alone. So I was actually scared for the lady. So one of the things I did is when I got down, I actually went to the lady and the kid first. And it looked like people were like, I was not thinking of myself, but I don't know how the kid will be feeling because the kid was crying. So I went there and then they said they were fine, they were okay. So they sat in the car and they left. I don't know why they left that quickly to us, but and I had to just think about myself because I had some sharp pain on my chest area thereabout, and then there was some pain around my neck, even though I was in seatbelt, and that's the good side of putting on seatbelt.
Because you had your seatbelt, but when the impact, did you hit your chest against the dashboard or the steering wheel?
No, but I moved very hard, and the seatbelt pulled me back. Exactly. So that impact, that action, actually was very strong. So you would definitely have some kind of effect on some part of your body. For me, that's what I experienced. I mean, for a period of like 1 week, thereabout. Yeah, but it wasn't that severe. I think that the seatbelt did the magic.
Did you take it to the hospital?
Yes. So I, of course, went to do a thorough checkup and then made sure internally I was safe, and then went for some massage small to make sure the physical body is also a bit fit, and then back to work.
I mean, you're a tall man. Your feet or your legs didn't.
No,
nothing of the sort.
It actually didn't affect my feet and leg. But it's a disturbing incident. You don't want anybody to go through it. I mean, the sound. Sometimes I'm sure a lot of people die not because of the cause of the accident, but because of the fear. I'm now believing that a lot of people who die just because of the scare, the scary moment, especially if it's a long period of time. Imagine a car failing a brake and then you are screaming, moving up and down, trying to get a place to settle, and then it crashes. People would definitely, go off, whether they faint or whatever, before even the crash happens, because it's a very, very scary moment. You don't wish anybody should go through this. Never. And I mean, from this experience, I keep saying that, look, I wish I had the power to enforce the law of wearing seatbelts. Like, I just wish I had some supernatural power that if you don't wear seatbelts, I can just let something happen to you. Because like, you are too careless. You're extremely, extremely careless, no matter the distance. If you don't wear seatbelt, you're extremely careless.
When you went to observe the situation with the lady and the child behind the seat. Was she in a seat belt or she was just seated there, or you don't?
Okay, so I didn't even, when the thing happened and then we parked, I sat in the car for a while. I relaxed. So they also came out of the car quickly. Okay. So when I got there, they were standing beside the car, but not, so I didn't know whether they were in seatbelts or not.
They both got out of the vehicle?
Yes, they both got out of the vehicle. So I don't know whether they were on seatbelts or not. But the guy in front was on seatbelt. Yeah, okay. The driver was on seatbelt. So, I mean, it was nobody was hurt. That's the most important thing, because you keep seeing people, dying, getting hurt, through via road accidents. So, anytime you escape one, Charlie, glory be to God.
Yes. You mentioned that the police were not very far away from you. How was the response like immediately the accident happened? I
think professional. There's one man, God, I've forgotten the name. One Nodna, very smallish guy, fair, who uses a motorbike on the Spinters Road. Superb, professional. Like he knew exactly what he was about, and then he actually explained to me the processes you need to go through. Even assuming you want to do, out of police settlement, you seriously need to go see, definitely record this information at the police service. It was very helpful. Very, very helpful. Brought a towing car, they had to tow our cars to the police station and so on and so forth. They did well. They did well.
That's good to hear. And you also stated that when it was about to happen, at that instant you had gone blank.
Yeah.
And looking at it from a different perspective, or playing everything back, do you think it could have gone any other way?
So for me, I was also thinking that one of the things that helped is I actually saw it coming briefly. So I don't know whether me minimizing my speed also played a role, because it was moving. Ours was more a slow moving traffic compared to his. But when I saw it coming, the first thing I did was, because I looked in the mirror, I realized I couldn't go right. Definitely I couldn't go left. So what could I do? I just reduced the brake, and then he came to hit. So I don't know whether it's a positive impact. Well, it was a positive thing I did or not. I actually don't know. I think we need to find out. But I felt it was the best option then, just to reduce my impact so that the collision will not have a very severe impact. That was what I thought. Because if both of us were moving at top speed, obviously the impact would be higher compared to.
Especially at the fact that he seemed to be traveling at a much higher speed, because it affected your engine. Yeah. It means that his speed was pretty high.
Yeah. Because he had a free road. And then when people have free road, you know what they do. People. I was just curious. I kept, even after the event, I spoke with him and I was like, Jack, what really happened? Were you sleeping? You need to know exactly what happened so that next time things like this. But if you really don't know, it's dangerous. It's serious. It means this thing can happen at any time. So you need to find out whether you went blank, you were sleeping, you dozed off, or you're on your phone. You must know exactly what caused it to be able to prevent another incident from occurring.
He may not tell you because you
I think that
want to blame him, and then you give him more reason. I see. So given the same instance on a different day, you wouldn't have done anything differently?
There was nothing I could do.
All right, Latif, let's expand the conversation to general road safety on the Ghanaian roads. What do you think the public, or generally Ghanaians, are not doing right as far as the fight against the canker is concerned?
I think that it shouldn't be limited to duty bearers only. The fight should be owned by every individual who actually sits in car or drives car or use the road. because it's not really about the driver only. Because sometimes the drivers pay attention, they are good, they are obeying all the rules, but another foolish person can cause the accident. So for me, it should be, every individual should be an ambassador to road safety. When we talk about road safety, every individual should be an ambassador. Just like, when issues of HIV came up, you see how serious we took it as a country. Yeah. Very serious. To the extent that now the infection rate has dropped drastically. When COVID came, you see how serious we took it as a country. Even when you look at the, when you look at the death rate with regards to COVID, you would say, we thank God, glory be to God. That is for us in Ghana. We aren't taking road safety that serious at all. Looking at the kind of seriousness we attached to HIV, the kind of seriousness we attached to COVID, I think that we've not even reached about 30% of that level of seriousness. We haven't. And it's worrying. It's worrying because COVID-19 became an individual ambassadorial role, where each and every one of us realize that I need to wear a face mask.
Whatever we do affects the other person. It's a chain reaction.
It's a chain reaction. So we took it very serious. Look, you can testify that in Accra, I mean we had the highest infection. So in Accra, about 80% of the population of Accra had used face masks before. They actually bought face masks, or they were giving face masks. It was that serious. When it comes to road safety, how many of us even still insist that drivers who are driving us should put on seatbelts?
So let's practicalize it. What can we as the citizenry do so that we know that we are taking the right steps to, as it were, reduce the...
I think that we should relate it. I always say condom was to the prevention of HIV/AIDS. Face mask was to the prevention of COVID-19. And then seat belts can also be towards the prevention of road accidents. It's an individual responsibility. We should take it on. Like each and every one of us daily should take it on as a message to tell a colleague. You shouldn't wait for the National Road Safety Commission or authority to tell you about wearing seatbelts, to tell you about obeying road safety precautions. I know the responsibility must be shared with the duty bearers and then with the individuals. But I always say that about 70% of the responsibility lies in our bosom as individuals.
So basically, everybody should take maybe one safety precaution that they want to enforce. You mentioned seatbelts. Maybe someone will also take that. Check the vehicle before you move.
Exactly.
Because there are various...
The brakes and so on and so on. There are various things that cause accident. But I'm saying that it should be our individual responsibility. Okay. Not only the responsibility of duty bearers, not only the responsibility of drivers, but the responsibility of people who don't even have cars. It should be their responsibility in making sure that the safety precautions when it comes to cars and especially safety precautions on our roads are observed. Okay. You understand? Not necessarily when you have a car, not necessarily when you are involved in a campaign and so on and so forth. It shouldn't take you as GhanaWeb to drive a campaign on road safety. You should have the vibe that everybody is doing it. It should be a daily pill, because people are dying more than the other. People are dying more than the other things we are taking extremely serious on our roads. People are dying on our roads. Yes, you complain that we don't have good roads. Yes, you would complain that we don't have, the government is not doing and so on and so forth. There are no, road safety, reflectors, lights and so on and so forth. But I'm telling you, even without light, majority of the responsibility lies with the driver and then the passengers. Even without street lights, even with our bad roads, we still have a responsibility to play. You understand? So the onus lies with us.
Okay. Thank you very much. So that was the CEO of Globe Productions, Latif Abubakar. The onus lies on us to stay alive and keep the drive for the road safety campaign going. Those are his final words on today's series. My name is Lord Harris Idasari. Don't forget to share your grievances and some of the observations you make on our roads to GhanaWeb social media platforms. On Facebook, we are GhanaWeb. On Twitter, it's also the GhanaWeb. Same on Instagram. My name is Lord Harris Idasari. Do join us for our subsequent episodes.